This week, we're becoming a high roller, one of those guys that sits at the most expensive poker tables, with all the big boys with a chance to make a lot of different coins. 2 weeks ago, before these master sets came out, the prices of these like 92 plus overall cards were over like 150k, 200k. Even the Halloween cards, we're gonna have cards like Roy and Booth, they still went for like 300k. And so I'm gonna start this video off with my first big investment by buying this Roy that's 100k cheaper than the other one. And you gotta keep in mind that the tax for these really expensive cards will be pretty high. So anything over 100k will at least have 5k in tax. When I'm trying to sell Roy for 300k, for instance, his tax is gonna be 15k. But I'm still making quite a profit off of him. And these really expensive cards, their prices can be very volatile, where you think that it's really cheap one day, and then the next day everyone's selling him for that cheap price, and so it might be pretty hard to sell something for a decent enough profit. You really have to just look for those cards that are significantly cheaper than all the other ones, so that even if like prices go down a little bit, you can still make a profit off of it. I chose not to buy this Roy immediately, instead just opted to bid on him so that I can get him for like 10k cheaper. Oh, and look, I still have the Thorntons from last week that I just kind of completely forgot about, so I figured now would be also a good time to slowly put them up. In another case, I'm looking at my sold cards so I can see what the prices of these cards are. Nathan McKinnon recently sold for 50k. I think that was one of the cards I was struggling to sell last week. But he did end up selling, so when I go over to the World Cup of Hockey Player of the Game cards, I'm going to find another McKinnon. So I figured, hey, since one just sold for that price, might as well kind of like restock and sell another one for a similar price. What's even better is it's the first card on these search results, and the card's about to expire, and I just completely skip over it just because I'm thinking, oh, you know, it's the first card. If it's been up for like at least an hour, no one's gonna want it. Or maybe so many people have the same like thought process as me and just automatically don't want it. But I returned to him and I'm like, oh crap, he's about to expire. He's going for the cheap price of 25k. I can sell him for 50k. I think I'm going to go down a little bit more to like 45k with him. So I just sit on him until there's about 20 seconds left, and then I'm going to place a bid on him and just watch the card to make sure that I end up winning this auction. That's what I do. That's when I realize I have another Thornton to sell still. It really is like finding free cash in your pants from so long ago that you thought you just never had. In the Team of the Week cards with less money, we are doing the segmented strategy. We're slowly searching for more and more expensive cards, and at this point, probably realize I could have gone this Stone, but I just missed him just like I did with that first McKinnon. I find this Tavares for same price as the Stone. Is at this point, I decide I'm going to drop my controller and go and look at my own video to try to figure out what the price of this Tavares used to go for. That's why you hear some Japanese pop-like music in the background. It's actually the menu music, but going at 4 times the speed, so it took me like 5 minutes to figure out the price. Our adventures will now take us back to the World Cup Player of the Game a few days later. It might have actually been like a few hours later, now that I think about it. This Taves just instantly pops his head for me. 90 overall Taves going for 60k. That's pretty cheap considering that I've seen this card multiple times throughout the year, and he was going for like 150 to 200k, and he's really hard to find. In addition to this, I know that his base card goes for around that price, so I know that this was kind of a steal. I originally set him up for twice the price that I bought him for, but I think I ended up going a little bit lower on him to about 99k. At this point, you guys can see I got quite a bit of money. That means my Derek Roy has sold, and right after the Derek Roy sells, I decide to check the Halloween cards again, only to find another Derek Roy that's going for a cheap price. That one's going even cheaper, but that's going to take too long. So we're going to go back to the first one, and again, wait him out. 30 seconds left. Like, I got really lucky trying to get this one. Just 30 seconds later, and I would have been a goner. Or actually, he would have been a goner. So he's really lucky that he had me to buy that card by him. So you know what? I'd like to think I just saved that Derek Roy's life by giving him a new home. I'm gonna welcome him in with open arms. Because I imagine if he went to some 10-year-old boy, that 10-year-old boy would just chew on his card, and there'd be like a lot of saliva over him and everything. That's gross. That's gross. He can thank me later. Check out the price that the last Derek Roy sold for, so that I can put this one up for maybe even a little bit higher, since that one sold pretty quickly. And thankfully, I was able to put up these two Roys before the Master set was released, where pretty much anybody could have gotten a 90+ overall card just by like trading in a Hut Hero collectible. And this is what the market looks like now. The Cooks and the Brizzies going for 50k, Booth and Roy going for like 120k, Oland, who used to go for like 700, 800k, you can now get for 200k. Heatley a little stronger than all of them. Still not that great. And these are the risks that you take if you're buying and selling, just flipping the high-priced cards, because you never know, and EA will screw you over like that. After those two big sales, we're nearing the end of the week. We decided to buy a few more cards before we finish it off. Nicoletti has my attention. For some reason, these two overall cards are going for around the same price, but the 87 Letty is miles better because he has 2 X-ray points. He used to go for 50k, so I'm kind of surprised that both of these guys are selling him for the same undervalued price. This goes back to controlling the market for a card. If you buy up all of like a certain card type, then you're welcome to sell them for pretty much whatever you want. And in this case, I choose like, what, 34 or 39k? Both of them combined sell for the price I put one up for. So I pretty much get like a 30k profit off of the both of them together. We have milestone cards. For some reason, this 89 Bacchus here is going for 20k, and at first I'm thinking, who the fuck wants this Bacchus? This card is terrible. It does have 4 synergy points, though, and I look up other 89 overall Bacchuses, and I find that, for some reason, this card was just underpriced by about 20k. Despite the fact that nobody wants this card, I feel like maybe someone will decide that they want the card. So I will sell them for 39, 34k. Pretty much just be happy with a profit of 10k plus. While searching the high value player of the game cards, I'm going to find a 91 overall Brian Little, and I'm not sure if I want to pull the trigger on this card. Not a lot of other 91 overall cards to compare the price with. You have a 92 overall Shaddy that's going for twice as much as this Little. He does have the 2 X-ray points, and I'm just thinking to myself, doesn't really matter at that point. He's got some solid stats, so maybe someone else, if they want, they could have jumped on it. But I decided not to take the bait and call it a day on the player of the game cards, and then hop on over to the World Cup player of the game cards after the Master set was released. And so now here you're gonna see like Madanos and Gilmores and Curry going for under 100k. I'd usually tell you guys, don't worry about it. There are times when people will put up these cards for way less than, well, the average price. If it's on the first day or two of such a big event, the prices of these cards will just plummet entirely. Prices will then increase over time since the hype to make the sets dies down and there's less cards on the market. Throw them up for an additional 20k, maybe I could have gone 25k, but it's good enough for me. These different cards that are just being ripped open and you know there's going to be a huge supply of them, that's when you can find the best deals on them. At the end of the week, or two, I guess it's been 2 weeks, we're sitting at 386,000 coins, and the thing is, there are a lot of cards that still haven't sold. Let's first take a peek at the cards that did in fact sell. Tavares, Roy, both Thorntons, another Roy, and I think McKinnon. That McKinnon might have also been a part of these 2 weeks. The Tavares, I wanted to sell him for 100k, but I settled on 80k instead. Still a profit there, and these are the 5 cards. Shore just doesn't want to be sold. That Taves, still not selling, even though I think he will end up selling. Bacchus I'll probably have to lower the price for, and Curry's in a pretty good position. And then if I go back and look at my collection, you guys will see another Letty, So once the first one sells, once I can kind of get a feel for what price he should go for, I can either raise the amount that I sell the second one for, or just keep it about the same. Here's the progress. We started with 386,000. We ended with 385,000. But then we have 6 cards that we haven't sold yet, and they're going to sell for 278,000 after taxes this time. That is what's going to generate the profit for the 2 weeks. If all goes well, we should end up with 664,000 coins if we were to sell everything, including our organs. And that is a 71.8% increase, which is very similar to what we had last week. If we had another 2 weeks that end up like this, then we will probably hit 1 million, but I think this was just a really good week just because the high-priced cards ended up selling for good profits. I only spent 1 hour and 15 minutes these past 2 weeks, and that can also be attributed to the amount of cards that I sold. Since we were dealing with much higher-priced cards, I didn't have to go to the auction house that often. Average profit per card, mostly because of the Roys giving me like 100k profit. So, on average, it gave me a 40k profit per card. At this point, we have spent pretty much 10 hours in the auction house to get 664,000 gold. Where will the next 2 weeks take us? Find out in 2 weeks, because it hasn't happened yet. Brianstormed, thanks for watching 1K to 1M.